Chapter 11 Direct and Inverse Proportions. First exercise. Following are the car parking charges near a railway station and check if the parking charges are in direct proportion to the parking time. So for that we to check all this take the corresponding ratio. So the ratio of the time period and parking time. That means the ratio of the time period, 4 hours, 8 hours, that one, of the time period to, ratio means before and after to the measurement is coming, to the parking charge. If all the ratios are same, then we can say this is in direct proportion. So first one we can take 4 hours 60 rupees. 4 hours by 60 rupees. When we are simplifying that, 1 by 15 we are getting. Next 8 hours 100 rupees. 8 by 100. Simplify that, we will get 2 by 25. Then 12 hours, for 12 hours 140 rupees. 12 hours 140. Dividing, we will get 3 by 35. Then next one, 24 hours 180 rupees, which is equal to, after simplification. Now we can see here first ratio 1 by 15, that not equal to second one 2 by 25, again that not equal to the third ratio 3 by 35, and that not equal to 2 by 15. All the ratios are different, not equal. So we can write the given quantities are not in direct proportion. Therefore, the given quantities are not in direct proportion. Here the question, check the parking charges are in direct proportion to the parking time. For that, parking charges to parking time, here take the ratio, and if the ratios are different, that means not in direct proportion. This we can simplify here, dividing by 4 2 times, here 25. Here all that is after simplification, we are getting the ratios. Second question, a mixture of paint is prepared by mixing one part of red pigment with 8 parts of the base of the following table. Find the parts of the base that needed to be added. We know that in this is coming in direct proportion. 1 part of red pigments with 8 parts of the base. Corresponding way we had to, with 4 part of red pigment, we had to find how much we had to add the base. So this is in direct proportion. In direct proportion, we know that x1 by y1 is equal to x2 by y2. So if we want, we can mark this as x1, x2, x3, x4, x5. Same way here, y1, y2, y3, y4, y5. These are the missing terms. So using the direct proportion equation, we can write here x1 is 1 and y1 is 8, x2 is 4. We have to find y2. That is 1 by 8 is equal to 4 by y2 we have to calculate, which implies cross multiply. y2 is equal to 8 into 4, which is equal to 32. Next we can take that as, here x1 by y1 is equal to x3 by y3 to calculate y3, which implies x1 by y1 is same, 1 by 8 is equal to x3 is 7 by y3. Cross multiply, y3 is equal to 8 into 7. Is equal to 56. Same way next one. x1 by y1 is equal to x4 by y4, which implies x1 and y1, that is 1 by 8, is equal to x4, that is 12 by y4. From that, y4 is equal to 8 into 12, 96. Next one, x1 by y1 is equal to x5 by y5, which implies 1 by 8 is equal to x5 is 20 by y5. That means y5 is equal to, cross multiply y5 into 1, that is y5 itself, 8 into 20 is equal to 160. Now we got all the missing terms or parts of the base corresponding to that. Then we can write inside here y2 in place of y2, 32. Then y3 as 56. y4 96. y5 160. Everywhere x1 by y1, the direct proportion, which means all the ratios will be equal. So this we can write if we want that x1 by y1 is equal to x2 by y2, which is equal to x3 by y3 is equal to x4 by y4, and that is equal to x5 by y5. So in each case we are comparing with the first one, which whatever it is given with that. Third question is same as the second one. In question 2 above, if one part of red pigment requires 75 ml of base, how much red pigment should we mix with 1800 ml of base? For that we can make a table like the same way, parts of red pigment and parts of base, and for one part of red pigment 75 ml of base. So that means for one part 75 ml of base, this in ml. And for 1800 ml of base, we have to find how many parts of red pigment. So when we are writing in table form, is easily we can see that is in direct proportion, and the formula x1 by y1 is equal to x2 by y2. And we can mark this as x1 by 1, x2 by 2. h2 we have to calculate. So when we are putting the values, 1 by 75 is equal to h2 by 1800. h2 we have to calculate. For that, cross multiply. So 1800 is equal to 75 into h2. From that, h2 is equal to 1800 divided by 75 is equal to 24, which means the required amount of red pigment here, that is equal to 24 parts. Fourth question, a machine in a soft drink factory fills 840 bottles in 6 hours. How many bottles will it fill in 5 hours? So when we are reading the question, we can see it continuously in every hour the same number of bottles are filling. So we can make this in the form of a, or from the question itself we can write this in the form of a direct proportion. If it is direct proportion, then we can write x1 by y1 is equal to x2 by y2, and write the given data in table form. Number of bottles, 840 bottles in 6 hours. So number of bottle and time in hours, here we can write that as 840 bottles in 6 hours. Now we have to find how many bottles will it fill in 5 hours. So time is given, we have to find number of bottles. We can mark that as x1, x2 here, y1, y2. All the three quantities are there, and only h2 we have to find out. From the equation we can write 840 by 6 is equal to h2 by 5, which implies H2 is equal to 840 into 5, that divided by 6. 6H2 will get, that we can put here 6 divided by 6, which is equal to, after simplification we will get that as 700. So we can write the number of bottles, how many bottles will it fill in 5 hours. Therefore, number of bottles fill in 5 hours is equal to 700. That means 700 bottles can fill in 5 hours. Fifth question, a photograph of a bacteria enlarged 50,000 times attains the length of 5 cm. So here also this in direct proportion, and we can mark the given data in the table form. It is in direct proportion because the bacteria is enlarging according to the time. When the time increases, or that much time that is multiplying, so its length is becoming according to that. So we can write it is in direct proportion, and therefore we can write h1 by y1 is equal to h2 by y2, and that is equal to h3 by y3. Then what we have to find, first is here given 50,000 times. The first column we can take as enlargement, how many times it is multiplying. And second column here that we can take as in the length of the bacteria. So when the bacteria multiplies 50,000 times, the length of that bacteria becomes 5 centimeter. Then what is the actual length of the bacteria? Actual length means enlargement the first time itself. So here the H3 that will come as 1, original length, actual length, and Y3 be the length on that time. So we can take the actual length of the bacteria. Let the actual length of the bacteria as bacteria B, we can mark that as Y3. Then we can write from that according to the formula H1, that means 50,000 divided by Y1 5, which is equal to, here we are comparing H1 by Y1 is equal to H3 by Y3. So H1 by Y1 is equal to H3 by Y3, 1 by Y3. From that, Y3 is equal to 5 divided by 50,000, Y3 is equal to 5. From that, Y3 is equal to 5 divided by 50,000. When we are dividing, it will come one time, and here 10,000, which means 1 by 10,000. That we can write as 10 raised to minus 4 centimeter. So this is the original length of the bacteria. Now next we have to calculate, if the photograph is enlarged 20,000 times, then what will be the corresponding length of that bacteria? So we can write actual length of the bacteria is equal to 10 raised to minus 4 centimeter. First part is over. Then second part, if the photograph is enlarged 20,000 times, then what will be the length of the bacteria? So we have to compare the first and second columns. H1 by Y1 is equal to H2 by Y2. Y2 we have to calculate. So we can write by using the formula, which implies 50,000 Y2 is equal to 5 into 20,000. From that, Y2 is equal to 5 into 20,000 divided by 50,000. So all the zeros we can cancel. 5 and 5 will cut. then we are getting 2 centimeter. That we can write in sentence, if the photograph enlarged 20,000 times, then the enlarged length of the bacteria is 2 centimeter. Question number 6. In a model of a ship, the mast is 9 centimeter high while the actual ship height is 12 meter. Length of the ship is 28 meter. The model of the ship, length of the model of the ship we have to calculate. So model and the actual ship. We can write this in direct proportion, which means x1 by y1 is equal to x2 by y2. And write the given datas. Height of the mast, when 9 centimeter in the model, 12 meter is the actual length. So 9 centimeter height of the mast, that is model in centimeter, length of the actual ship in meter. When the model is 9 centimeter, actual ship that is 12 meter high. And here actual ship is given 28 meter long and we have to find length of the model. So we can take that as x1, y1, x2, y2. From that, 9 by 12 is equal to x2 by y2, that is 28, which implies cross multiply x2 is equal to 9 into 28 divided by 12, which is equal to 21 meter. So we can write how long is the model shape. Length of the, that is, or therefore the length of the model shape is equal to length of the model ship, that is in centimeter. Model ship model is given in centimeter and the ship is, actual ship is in meter. So here we are getting 21 centimeter. Length of the model ship is equal to 21 centimeter. Question number 7. Suppose 2 kilogram of sugar contains 9 into 10 raised to 6 crystals. How many sugar crystals are in 5 kg of sugar and in 1.2 kg of sugar? This also we know that is in direct proportion. More kilogram, more crystals will be there and in the same ratio. So we can write it is in direct proportion, which means x1 by y1 is equal to x2 by y2, which is equal to x3 by y3. We can write that in table form, number of sugar crystals and weight of sugar in kg. Here it is given 9 into 10 raised to 6 crystals in 2 kg sugar. Next we have to find first part in 5 kg of sugar, how much crystals are, sugar crystals are there. So this we can mark as x2, this as x3. When we are applying in the equation, we can write that as, that is 9 into 10 raised to 6 divided by 2 is equal to x2 divided by 5. When we are cross multiplying, we will get x2 is equal to 5 into 9 into 10 raised to 6 divided by 2. When we are multiplying 5 into 9, 45 into 10 raised to 6 by 2. And that is equal to 2.25 into 10 raised to 7. So we can write sugar crystals in 5 kg of sugar is equal to 2.25 into 10 raised to 7. Now we have to calculate how many crystals in 1.2 kg of sugar, second part. For that, again same, 9 into 10 raised to 6 divided by 2. x1 by y1 is equal to x3 by y3. x3 we have to calculate, divided by y3 is given 1.2. From that, x3 is equal to 1.2 into 9 into 10 raised to 6 divided by 2, and that is equal to, after calculation, is equal to 5.4 into 10 raised to 6. So we can write sugar crystals in second part 1.2 kilogram of sugar is equal to 5.4 into 10 raised to 6. Question number 8. Rashmi has a road map with a scale of 1 centimeter representing 18 kilometer. She drives on a road of 72 kilometer. What would be her distance covered in the map? So we can write this in direct proportion. That means x1 by y1 is equal to x2 by y2. Scale in centimeter. 1 centimeter representing 18 kilometer distance. So 1 with 18 and 72 kilometers she drives, then corresponding to that in the scale in the map, how that we have to calculate. We can take that as x2. x1, x2, y1 by 2, and here x2 is missing, that we have to find. By using the formula we can write 1 by 18 is equal to x2 by 72, which implies x2 is equal to 72 by 18, and that is equal to 4. So it's in centimeter, so we can write 4 centimeter. Here the question, she drives on 70, what would be her distance covered in the map? So the distance covered, the distance covered in the map is equal to 4 centimeter. Question number 9. A 5 meter 60 centimeter high vertical pole casts shadow. So height of the pole and shadow is given. Find at the same time the length of the shadow by another pole. Height is given. Here height of the shadow is given and height of the pole we had to find. So two situations. So we can write this in direct proportion. At the same time the shadow, so that is in direct proportion. We can write the given terms in table. 5.60 meter, write that in meter. So of the pole and length of the shadow is 3.20. Here height of the pole is 10 point, first case. Height of the pole is 10 meter 50 centimeter, that we can write as 10.50 meter. There we have to find the shadow. So first we can compare these two. x1 by y1 is equal to x2 by y2. That is x1 is 5.60 by y1 3.20 is equal to x2 10.50 by y2. From that y2 is equal to 3.20 into 10.50 divided by cross multiply 5.60, which is equal to, when we are simplifying, by multiplying here with 100 we can remove the decimals. After simplification we will get that as here 6 meter. For simplification, if we want, we can avoid that meter to do in centimeter. If we are doing that in centimeter, the calculation it will come like this way: 320 centimeter into 1050, that divided by 560. Then we can simplify that into, here one more decimal part is, so 1 by 100, which is equal to 6 meter we'll get. Now the second part, the height of a pole which cast 5 meter long. We have to find h3. So x1 by y1 is equal to h3 by y3. That means 5.60 by 3.20 is equal to h3 by 5. Here we are taking x1 by y1 is equal to h3 by y3. In this case, cross multiply, we will get h3 is equal to 5 into 5.60 divided by 3.20. 2 decimal places in the denominator and numerator, we can multiply up and down by 100. We will get 5 into, we can remove the decimal point, 560 divided by 320. After simplification, here we are getting 35 by 4, that is equal to 8.75, that much meter. So here the question is the height of the pole. So we can write that is the height of the pole is equal to 8 meter 75 centimeter. Question number 10. A loaded truck travels 14 km in 25 minutes. If the speed remains same, that means speed remains same, then we can write it is in direct proportion. Direct proportion, then the formula x1 by y1 is equal to x2 by y2. Here it is given the traveling time and distance. So distance in kilometer, time in minutes. First is 14 km in 25 minutes. So 14 and 25. Then how far can it travel in 5 hours? 5 hours means here we have taken in minutes. So convert hours to minute. 5 into 1 hour is equal to 60 minutes. So 5 into 60, 300 minutes. In 300 minutes, how much distance that truck can travel? So it is in direct proportion. We can apply the values. That is 14 by 25 is equal to. Here we can mark that as x1, x2. x2 is missing. So x2 by y2. That means 300. From that, x2 is equal to 14 into 300 divided by 25. Which is equal to 14 into, when we are dividing, 12 times. So 14 into 12, and that is equal to 168 kilometer. So we can write in sentence how far the truck can travel 168 kilometer in 5 hours. Second exercise. Which of the following are inverse proportion? First one, the number of workers on a job and the time to complete the job. Here we know that the number of workers, more workers and less time. More workers then less time. Less workers, more time. It is inversely connected. So we can write that is inverse proportion. Next, time taken for a journey and the distance traveled in uniform speed. So time more distance, it will take more time. So that is direct. Directly connected. So direct proportion. Area of a cultivated land and the crop harvested. More land, more crop will get. So that also directly. More less land, less crop. So direct. Fourth one, the time taken for a fixed journey and speed of the vehicle. If high speed, then less time. Less speed, more time. So inversely, time and speed inversely connected. So we can say that is inverse proportion. Population of a country and area of land per person. Area of land per person, population. Here also we can see more population, less area will get. Less population, more area will get. That also inverse proportion. Second question. In a television game show, the prices of money 1 lakh is to be divided equally amongst the winners. Complete the following table and find whether the prize money given to an individual winner is directly or inversely proportional to the number. Here number of winners and prize. If one winner, that person will get 1 lakh. 2 winners are there, then 50,000, which means it's inversely proportional. It is an inverse proportion. More winners, less amount. So we can write here more winners, then less money or amount what they are getting, which means it is an inverse proportion. It is an inverse proportion. In inverse proportion, we know the formula x1 into y1 is equal to x2 into y2. We can consider this as x1, x2, x3, x4, x5, x6, x7. Same way here, y1, y2, y3, y4, y5, y6, y7. So we can find one by one the missing terms. The formula x1, y1 is equal to x2, y2, which is equal to, we can write how many terms we had to find, which is equal to x3, y3, and that is equal to x4, y4, etc. So in the first one, we can consider here x1 y1 is equal to x3 y3. Then x1 y1, that means 1 into 1 lakh. 1 into 1 lakh, which is equal to x3 is given 4. We had to find y3. From that, y3 is equal to that 1 into 1 lakh means 1 lakh itself, that divided by 4. So which is equal to 25,000. So if 4 winners are there, each one will get 25,000 rupees. Now same way the next one. x1 y1 is equal to x4 y4, which means 1 into 1 lakh is equal to x4 5. 5 into y4. From that y4 we can find 1 lakh divided by 5, which is equal to 20,000. That means y4 20,000. If 5 winners are there, each one will get 20,000 rupees. Similarly, next one, x1 y1 is equal to x5 by 5. x1 y1 means 1 into 1 lakh, which is equal to x5 is 10, sorry 5, x5 is 8, 8 into y5, 8 into y5. From that, y5 is equal to this 1 lakh divided by 8. When we are dividing by 8, it will come 12,500. That means here 12,500 rupees. If 8 winners are there, 12,500 rupees will get each one. Next, x6, y6. That means x1, y1 is equal to x6, y6, which implies 1 into 1 lakh is equal to x6 means 10. 10 into y6, which implies y6 is equal to 1 lakh divided by 10, which is equal to 10,000. That means here 10,000. If 10 winners are there, each one will get 10,000. Then the next column, x7, y7. 1 into 1 lakh is equal to x7 is 20. 20 into y7, which implies y7 is equal to 1 lakh divided by 20. When we are dividing, each one is getting 5,000. So the table here is coming 5,000. If there are 20 winners, then each one will get 5,000 rupees. So we completed the table. Third question, Rahman is making a wheel using spokes. He wants to fix equal spokes in such a way that the angles between any pair of consecutive spokes are equal. Help him by completing the following table. Now here we can see the table is given with 4 spokes and angle that is 90. Here 6 spokes and angle 60. We know that if the number of spokes is more, then the angle between the spokes will be less. Here it is more spokes, angle is decreasing or less the angle, which means it is an inverse proportion. Also we can see here 2 terms are given. That means 4 into 90 is equal to 360. At the same time 6 into 60 also is equal to 360, which means we can write from that x1 y1 is equal to x2 y2. We are taking this as x1, x2, x3, x4, x5. Here y1, y2, y3, y4, y5. From the given one, x1 into y1 is equal to x2 into y2. We got both when we multiply 360. So we can write x1 y1 is equal to x2 y2. And here the question, are the number of spokes and the angle formed between the pairs of consecutive spokes in inverse proportion? Yes. More spokes, less angle. More spokes, then less angle. Therefore, it is inverse proportion. Now, calculate the angle. First, we have to complete the table by using the formula x1 y1 is equal to x2 y2. So we can do it here. x1 y1 here. x1 y1 is equal to, here we can take the third column, x3 y3. That means 4 into 90 is equal to, x3 is given as 8. 8 into y3. From that, y3 is equal to 4 into 90 divided by 8. With 4 here 2 times and half. Here 45. So y3 is equal to 45 degree. We can write here that as 45 degree. Next, x1 y1 is equal to, we are going to find this column, x4 y4. There x1 is 4, y1 is 90. 4 into 90 is equal to x4 is 10. 10 into y4. From that, y4 is equal to 4 into 90 by 10. It's equal to 36. So the angle here is coming 36. If 10 spokes are there on the wheel, then each angle between the spokes, that will be 36 degree. Next, x5 and y5. x1 y1 is equal to x5 y5. From that, 4 into 90 is equal to x5 is 12. 12 into y5, that means y5 is equal to 4 into 90 divided by 12. Here 4 3 times, and when we are dividing 90 by 3, we'll get 30 degree. So here 30 degree. Now we completed the table using inverse proportion formula. x1 y1 is equal to x2 y2, which is equal to x3 y3, and that is equal to x4 y4, and that is equal to x5 y5, etc. Here we can see the second and third part of the question. We can extend the table and mark it there. Calculate the angle between a pair of consecutive spokes on a wheel with 15 spokes. So here is 15. 15 spokes, this we have to find. And next one, how many spokes would be needed if the angle between the pair of consecutive spokes is 40? This angle is given. Here number of spokes we have to find. So we can continue the same method for the second answer. Calculate the angle. If there are 15 spokes, we have to find the angle. Same formula. x1 y1 is equal to, this we can take as x6 x7, here y6 y7. So x6 into y6. 4 into 90, which is equal to x6 is 15. From that, y6 is equal to 4 into 90 divided by 15. So here, which is equal to, we can cut here 15 6 times, so 6 4s are 24. So we are getting here 24 degree. 24 degree. Next one, same way, x1 y1 is equal to x7 y7. 4 into 90 is equal to x7 we have to calculate, y7 is given 40 degree. From that, x7 is equal to 4 into 90 divided by 40. It's equal to 9. So the number of spokes needed, the required, we can write in sentence here. Here the answer is 9, and we can write the required number of spokes. This is the third part question. The required number of spokes is equal to 9. So this is the third answer. Here this is the second one. Calculate the angle between. So the angle between the consecutive spokes. The angle between the spokes is equal to 24 degree. That's the answer of the second part. Question number 4. In a box of seeds is divided among 24 children. They will get 5 seeds. How many would each get if the number of children is reduced by 4? So here we can see more children, less number of seeds. more children, less sweets, which means inverse proportion. So we can write this is in inverse proportion, and the formula is x1y1 is equal to x2y2. And this we can write in table form. 24 children, then 5 seats each. So number of children, number of seats, and 24 children, each one will get 5 seats. If the number of children is reduced by 4, that means 24 minus 4 is equal to 20. Then we have to find the number of seats what they are getting. So we can take this as x1, y1, x2, y2. We have to find y2. We can write from here, which implies 24 into 5 is equal to x2 is 20, that into y2. From that, y2 is equal to 24 into 5 by 20. We can divide by 5 4 times, and then by 4 6. So it's equal to 6. That means if there are 20 students, each one will get 6 seats. So we can write here the question, how many would each get? So number of seats each child will get is equal to 6. So we can write therefore number of seats each child is getting or will get, that is equal to 6. Fifth question, a farmer has enough food to feed 20 animals in his cattle for 6 days. How long would the food last if there are 10 more animals in his cattle? So more animals, less number of days only the food is having. More animals, less days. So this is in inverse proportion. Inverse proportion means x1 y1 is equal to x2 y2. Here it's given number of animals, that is 20, then number of days 6. Here the question, how long would the food last if there are 10 more animals? That means number of animals that will become 20 plus 10. Already 20 is there, 10 more. So 30 animals are there, then how many days that food will last? So we can apply that the formula 20 into 6 is equal to 30 into y2, which implies y2 is equal to 20 into 6 by 30. Can divide by 10 and then by 3 here too, which is equal to 4. That means 4 days only that food. If there are 30 animals, then the food will last only 4 days. So we can write. So we can write the food will last for 4 days. So question number 6. A contractor estimates that 3 persons could rewire Jasminder's house in 4 days. 3 persons in 4 days. If he uses 4 persons instead of 3, how long should they take to complete the job? Here we can see if the number of persons is increased, then the work will finish in less number of time. If the number of persons is increased, it will take less number of days, which means this is in inverse proportion. That means x1 y1 is equal to x2 y2. Here number of persons are given. 3 persons will finish in 4 days. You can take this as x1, x2, y1, y2. And here the question, if there are 4 persons instead of 3, how many days it will take? So we can put the values here. x1, that is 3. 3 into 4 is equal to 4 into y2. From that, y2 is equal to 3 into 4 divided by 4, which is equal to 3. So we can write they will take 3 days. So we can write 4 persons will complete the job in 3 days. Seventh question. A batch of bottles were packed in 25 boxes with 12 bottles in each box. If the same batch is packed using 20 bottles in each box, how many boxes would be filled? So here more bottles in the box, then less number of boxes required. If the number of bottles is increased in the box, then the required number of boxes will be decreased. One is increasing, the other one is decreasing, which means this is in inverse proportion. That means x1 y1 is equal to x2 y2. Here it's given number of boxes and bottles, 25 boxes with 12 bottles. So 25, 12, and here we have to find if the same batch is packed using 20 bottles in each box. So 20 bottles in each box, how many boxes will be filled? This we have to find out. We can mark this as x1, x2, y1, y2. Using this formula, it will come x1 25 into 12 is equal to x2 we have to find y2 is 20, which implies x2 is equal to 25 into 12 divided by 20. When we are dividing by 5, here 4 times, here 5 times, with the 4 here 3 times. So 5 into 3, 15. So we can write that is the required number of boxes is equal to 15. Question number 8. A factory requires 42 machines to produce a given number of articles in 63 days. How many machines would be required to produce the same number of articles in 54 days? So we know that more machines then less number of days are required. If the number of machines is increased, then the less number of days would be required to finish the same number of articles. So we can write that in table, number of machines and number of days. 42 machines in 63 days. Number of articles can finish in 63 days with the 42 machines. The same number of articles with the 54 days, how many machines are required? So this is in inverse proportion. That means x1 y1 is equal to x2 y2. Here 42 into 63 is equal to x2 into y2 is 54, which implies x2 is equal to 42 into 63 by 54, which is equal to 49. You can divide this by 6. 9 times here, 7 times 6, then with 9 here 7 times, so 7 into 7, 49. That means 49 machines would be required to finish the same number of articles in 54 days. Ninth question. A car takes 2 hours to reach the destination by traveling at the speed of 60 km per hour. How long will it take when the car travels at the speed of 80 km per hour? So we know that if the speed is more, then less time will take to reach the destination. If the car is traveling, that means going in low speed, that will take more time. Less speed, more time, or high speed, less time, both inverse proportion. So we can write on increasing the speed, it will take less time to reach the destination. That means speed and time here, both the quantities are in inverse proportion, which means x1 y1 is equal to x2 y2. Here 2 hours will take the time to reach the destination if the speed is 60 kilometer per hour. So we can write speed in kilometer per hour, that is 60, time in hour, that will take 2. And if the speed is 80, then time we have to find. X1, Y1, X2, Y2. So that means 60 into 2 is equal to 80 into Y2, which implies Y2 is equal to 60 into 2 by 80. Can divide by 2, it will come 4, again by 2, 3. That means 3 by 2. 3 by 2 hours, which means 1 and 1 by 2. Convert to mixed fraction. So 1 and 1 by 2 hours. So we can write the car will take 1.5 hours to, if the speed is 80 km per hour, to reach the destination. That is, hence the car will take 1.5 hours to reach its destination when the speed is 80 km per hour. 10th question, 2 persons could fit new windows in a house in 3 days. So we know that more people, less number of working days. So on increasing the number of persons, less time, less number of days will be required to complete the job. That means number of persons and the time taken are in different or inverse proportion. The quantities are in inverse proportion, which means x1 y1 is equal to x2 y2. And here number of persons, number of days. 2 persons, 3 days. Can finish. First case, one person fell ill before the work started. How long would it take the job? So one person we have to find y2. That means 2 into 3 is equal to, x2 means one person, y2 we have to find, which implies y2 is equal to 2 into 3, 6. That means one person will take 6 days. So we can write that is, if one person will then he will take 6 days to finish the job. Then second part, how many persons would be needed to fit the windows in 1 day? So we can write x1 y1 is equal to third column x3 y3, which implies 2 into 3 is equal to x3 we have to find, y3 is given as 1, which implies x3 is equal to 2 into 3, that is 6. So in 1 day to fix the window, he needs 6 workers. Therefore we can write that is the required number of workers. Number of workers or persons needed to finish the work in 1 day is 6. The required number of persons needed to finish the work in 1 day is 6. That means 6 people or 6 workers needed to finish that work in 1 day. 11th question, a school has 8 periods a day, each of 45 minutes duration. How long would each period be if the school has 9 periods a day, assuming the number of school hours to be the same? So increasing the duration of the period, then the number of periods will be reduced. So we can write this is in inverse proportion. inverse proportion. So we can write the question in table form. Number of periods and duration in minute of each period in minute. 8 periods each of with 45 minutes. Now 9 periods and the time duration we have to find out. So it's in inverse proportion, which means x1 y1 is equal to x2 y2. That means we can write here 8 into 45 is equal to 9 into y2, which means y2 is equal to 8 into 45 divided by 9. Can divide by 9 5 times, so 8 into 5 40. That means the duration is 40 minutes. So we can write it, therefore the duration of period which is equal to 40 minutes. That means if 9 periods each with 40 minutes.